A stray bullet went through a Hawaii Kai home right into the living room. Nobody was hurt, but where did the bullet come from? And could the answer have anything to do with the Koko Head shooting complex? The family found the bullet lodged in the wall above the patio door. A woman and her grandson were in the house when it happened. Honolulu police are investigating, but so far tell us it's difficult to determine if the bullet came from the firing range. There have been safety concerns there in the past, so how were they addressed, and are more safety improvements needed? Manolo Morales asked the tough questions. Manolo?
Joe, it's been nearly 3 years since safety improvements were made at the shooting range. Now, the stray bullet incident happened in March, so well after the changes were made. I've learned that a national expert was brought in to help with the safety improvements, but none of his suggestions were used.
All of a sudden, we heard a bang that was like a huge piece of furniture falling. That's what it sounded like.
Lynn Conway didn't know what caused that bang until
my grandson came in and he said, "Grandma, look at the hole in the wall."
And then it all started lining up. The bullet entered through the dining room wall, hit the dining table, ricocheted and lodged itself on the wall in the living room.
But it was really scary to know I was sitting here until 15 minutes before the bullet came through, and my grandson was playing with the toys right over there. All of a sudden, my husband and I just started shaking, like, what could have happened?
The family called Honolulu police, and a ballistics team was sent to investigate. Landlord Tim Kwok tells me he spoke with the detective in charge.
She said that they're going to have to interview people at the gun range to see if any participant there saw someone shooting, a weapon into the air.
We checked with HPD, and a spokeswoman tells me the case remains open, but once again, HPD could not determine if the round was fired from the range. Is it even possible? The shooting range is 2 miles away from the house, and the bullet would have had to go over Koko Head, which is about 1,200 feet high.
Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible.
Harvey Gerwig is the president of the Hawaii Rifle Association.
A high-power rifle can go 2 miles.
We looked through our own archives and found similar stray bullet incidents in the same area. In 2013, a bullet went through a window at a home in Hawaii Kai's Koko Villas. In another case, a bullet landed on a car. While it was never determined where the bullets came from, the city shut down the range temporarily. It spent $94,000 on safety improvements in December 2013 and reopened the facility a month later. Crews added sand and dirt in the berm behind the targets to help absorb bullets. An eyebrow cover was installed, which is essentially an awning meant to discourage shooters to fire at a high angle. And all targets beyond 100 yards were eliminated. But the head of the Hawaii Rifle Association tells me it wasn't enough. The Hawaii Rifle Association actually brought in an expert here to give some tips on how to make it safer. But I was told that the city never followed any of these suggestions. Gerwig tells me the expert suggested putting clay-like dirt instead of sand, which erodes away. He says soft dirt stays in place and absorbs the bullets better. Also, more signage. There are signs explaining the rules, but Gerwig says they need to be more explicit.
There needs to be standardized safety procedures, sign-wise, that then the range masters can follow and insist. And if somebody doesn't obey, they need to be kicked off right now.
I've been trying to get the city to talk to us on camera and explain why those improvements were not made. I've been asking since Monday, and each time a spokesman told me no one was available. So I'll keep pressing the city until I get an answer. I also wanted to know the safety protocols at the range, how many workers are making sure everyone's following the rules, and what happens when they don't. Off camera, the range master told me he and 1 or 2 range officers are keeping track. A shooter is given 1 warning for a violation. After that, he or she is thrown out. How often does it happen? He said rarely. The city sent a statement saying there are safety procedures and facility features in place to ensure that the secure and legal use of firearms at the range. Now, I also asked HPD if there have been any other reports of possible stray bullets from the range since the improvements were made in 2013, and I'm still waiting for that response. Manolo Morales, KHON 2 News.